Alright explorers, today's adventure starts something like this. That's got a bucket on it. Don't worry guys, that ain't search and rescue. That's a firefighter. It's got a bucket.
Alright, so that's not how it starts, that's actually how it ends. This is from my adventure to the Montana Lode Mine over there in the Okanogan National Forest, which at the time was on fire in a lot of places, so there was an awful lot of smoke and an awful lot of elements of danger. We weren't really sure how close the fires were, so the whole time we were second guessing whether we should even hike to this thing. Now it's not super far away from civilization, but it sure does seem like it when you're having to hike through all this kind of stuff. And then the hills, I didn't even bother to film going up because they were such an intense climb and there was so much double tread work that I just didn't bother to film it. We did eventually make it to the mine. It was looking pretty good for its age, and I'm surprised at how much is there, but I don't know how much longer it will be there if these fires get to it and, you know, the snow loads afterwards as well. There is some evidence that there was a fire near it last year, so it did survive one of them. Maybe with a little luck she'll keep going a little longer, I guess. But anyway, at least there was enough there for us to see this time. Like I was saying, the hike is a real pain to get up there, and that's partially because there's no road to it. So you basically have to make your way with a map and a compass, and even finding the area on Google Maps is a real pain. That's the problem with the Great Northwest and finding mines, is that if you can even find something standing, because not a lot survives in this climate, getting to it's usually a real pain. Locating it with the maps is a pain. There's usually so much forest around, there's not a lot of landmarks, so even walking up there with a map, I had to check every 100 feet and make sure that I was on the right path. And it all seemed really discouraging, but just at the last moment when we were about to give up, our luck held out.
We're in the middle of nowhere, and we're trekking across some of the greatest things that the Northwest has to offer, the greatest challenging territory, and just when we're about to give up, that looks like a man-made structure to me. Right now we're exploring here in the Northwest in near Mazama. I don't mind giving away the location of this one because it's really hard to get to. I don't think anybody's gonna, you know, do what we've done here. And we may be one of the last groups of people to come and see this, because I don't know if you can see the haze in the air, but there's an awful lot of wildfires out here. There's one about 5 miles from this location, and right now the winds are blowing. That's 5 miles north of this location, and the winds are blowing north, so it shouldn't carry the fire this way, but if they change, you just never know what's going to happen to the landscape. This might be the last year that this is here. If the snow loads don't get it, or the fires I mean, then the snow loads will. Sorry if my words seem a little out of place. This was a tough one. I certainly hope the fires don't get here, because this is too cool. So this is a 100-year-old stamp mill right here. I believe it was built in 1912. So, whoa. I gotta get my bearings real quick, so I'll be right with you in just a second. So, like I was saying, it's about 100 years old, a little more, and as you can see, it's not in the best shape. You can't really expect it to be with how heavy the snow loads are in these parts. Yep, it was built about 1912, if I remember right. I could be wrong, I'll fact check that when I get home. And this is about the way it looked the last time I saw a picture of it. Like I said, I've seen pictures of it. I've never seen anybody make the trek to it with a camera though, like a video camera. So, or put that on the internet anywhere. But here it is. Unbelievable. Normally, here in the Great Northwest, these things collapse completely by now. It's rare to see one even in this shape. This is a lot of like what the buildings would have looked like in Monte Cristo. Very similar.
Those are the hammers.
Careful what you touch. A lot of rat crap. Isn't that cool or what? So, yeah, you see the cam above it? That lifts these big stamps, and then they come down as they drop the ore down this with water, and they crush it up into rock. And it would bring it further down the mill to be further processed. They might have had the mercury processing down at the bottom of the hill. I don't know if this plant had the mercury bit to it. Cedar roof. Old cedar
It
roof.
was just planks. It wasn't even
It
cedar.
wasn't even cedar, yeah. It's just
It was
planks.
just boards.
Guess what, guys?
Wasn't it? Yeah, there's a bunkhouse.
So based on what I can see in pictures that go back about 5 or 6 years, this mill has actually looked like this for at least a decade.
I think I'm gonna take a risk. Don't go with me, whatever you do.
Yeah, just
Don't go right behind me.
It's up there.
one of these beans.
Rat shit everywhere.
Man, they were just... Somebody was
wow.
up here just throwing it in there one at a time, probably. Maybe.
Right behind you. Wow. What were they doing there? Throwing these down?
Well, I don't know about that. I think it would slow down production, but
Can you remind us? You throw them right in there?
that's what crushed
Whew, scary.
Come on, let's get this machine going, dude.
it.
It'd rattle itself
Squeezed
apart.
against that plate
Here's where the
with
big, check this out, here's where a belt was driving, I think, up here. Careful, this
Well, the power
platform can only hold so
Looks
much.
like a furnace or something.
it probably was.
It ran off wood.
Well, no, it probably kept somebody's ass warm up here. But the engine was probably down there. Because you have a pulley off to the side and a pulley.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
steam powered, I'm sure.
Oh, this looks like it was
Do we have a
so-
turbine down there?
There's a,
Whole
a stack.
area's still full of some of the
When did this become abandoned? In the
ore.
20s?
46, I think, was when it was abandoned. I
check
could be
this out.
mistaken.
And when did it open?
I think 1912.
That's a long time.
It's a plug, wooden plug or dowel on top of this oiler here.
Yeah,
And they had it stuck in there and just pulled it
keep
out.
the oil from coming back out.
Get the
Got
dirt out
mine
of
cart
it.
rails and their little custom boiler here.
I bet the war stopped this mine.
Get my
I
fat
don't
ass
know.
off this thing or we're all gonna die.
Stopped right after the war. You said 46.
Yeah.
So the way that a stamp mill works is you have these hooks attached to this crankshaft, and the crankshaft of course has a wheel on the end of it, a flywheel with a belt, typically driven by a steam or diesel engine. And as the hooks rotate on the shaft, they come into contact with these lobes which lift up the stamps. When it gets to the end of the hook, the stamp comes crashing down. Due to the sheer weight of the stamps, it causes a lot of force on the ore and breaks it into tiny little rocks, which are further processed, usually with mercury, since gold sticks to mercury. Stamp mills have been used for hundreds of years, and they're used for crushing all sorts of ore. This one in particular was used for processing gold and some silver too.
So not far away, in the hillside.
Man, they got a lead.
Oh, this is a great site. It's not very often that you get to see any of this stuff in this region of the country. You know, you want to see stuff like this still standing, you usually have to go to the desert, but because normally all you get out of sites like this are pipes like this guy and piles of crap. Oh, look at that.
Dude. I'm jealous.
If I were to camp, this is where I would camp if it wasn't burning everywhere.
You should see the floor in here. And there's a
Revenuers, get the hell out of here.
beautiful table in here too.
Man, over yonder.
Wow. Explorers, we found their home.
Should have worn my coveralls.
Well then, look at the floor in here. Those
Dude,
are
it
some
is
pretty
really
rough
nice.
cut boards.
Yeah. They didn't care too much about perfecting.
This might stand a little while longer. Hard to say.
This one probably has 5 to 10 years.
Probably left in it.
Shape before it gets in the shape that other one's in.
Stairs are still
Hey,
good
man,
enough
you
to
can
walk
actually
on.
walk up the stairs.
And only one by They're only 1 by material. A lot of flex in them.
Oh, okay. Oh, because it's weakest in the middle.
Yeah, they're only 1 by material, so. Wow. How about that? That is so cool.
Yeah, I don't want to get a broken leg and then have to try to make it out of here.
We'll have to carry you.
I wouldn't ask you to.
Well, I would do it anyway. For you, Norman. And they had a little wood stove up here. Doesn't look like it goes through, so it was just up here, I think. What a neat little spot. And
This is really cool.
this was a 12-man operation from what the Ghost Towns of Washington forum said. So shout out to you guys. Thank you, Ghost Towns of Washington, or it's like Northwest Ghost Towns or Washington Ghost Towns, something like that. If you Google it, you will get the site I'm talking about. And here's a thanks to that website. Actually, I don't even know why I'm like giving you guys variants when I can just do this. There we go. So anyway, shout out and a thanks to you guys. Well, look at what the weight of the snow has done to these rafters.
How many people do you think work here? Maybe like 20?
12.
Oh, that's it.
12 at the max. That's what the site forum said.
So that's a really small operation.
So this was an old bunk, looks like
That's
to me.
like a super small mining operation compared to some of the places you've been to.
Alright, explorers. I got the time on the camera, don't worry about that. So here's the thing. The adit is about 500 feet up that. And it's getting pretty late. It's really smoky out here. We've been breathing the smoke for quite a while and it's taking its toll, trust me. So we're probably not going to go to the adit. They're full of water anyway. There are some pictures and I will flash them for you guys, what I can collect off of Google Images for you guys. But as far as going into it right now, it just doesn't seem like a good idea. We may revisit this place maybe in a year or so, and who knows, it'll be a good little update, see how it handles this winter, see if she survives. Now that we know we can find it, we know how to get here, and we're going to take a more detailed route on the way down so that we can kind of memorize this. So it's about 6 o'clock right now, and we're not too far from the mill site there. Found this road here. You can't really tell it's a road until you're on it, but you can kind of see it's flat. Looks to be a road anyway. It took us about, oh gee, I don't really remember what time it was when we left, but it felt to be about 2 hours of hiking. Pretty intense.
So the mine's elevation is at 4,300 feet, and that's within a 1.3 mile climb. Basically, the steepness of these hills is the climb we had to hike the entire time. So that gives you an idea as to why we were huffing and puffing so much. Now, even though we found that road, which seemed like an easy way out, it started to veer all over the place, and because we started hearing helicopters in the air, we really just wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible. So rather than take the road, we kind of just cut straight down the hill, found our original tracks, and traced them back to the truck. Was the quicker way out. It was not an easy climb down either. With every step we got more and more tired, and I can just remember the smoke was getting thicker and thicker. We ran out of water about 300 or 400 yards away from the truck, which doesn't seem that bad, but man, when you start getting that tired, it's amazing how 10-15 steps can feel like a couple miles. It's crazy.
That's got a bucket on it. Don't worry guys, that ain't search and rescue. That's a firefighter. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the future of the old Montana mill is uncertain. I do, however, plan to return to the site someday, as there was still plenty left that we didn't explore. Hopefully that trip can be planned around better conditions.
You know, It was pretty scary. But we found the truck. It's time to get out of here. Oh, man.
There's fire coming that way, from that direction.